What do you want to do to your hair, by the way? Like a mid-skin fade?
I have no idea how to describe this because my girl always cuts it.
I'm thinking like a mid-skin. You go 0, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do a mid-skin fade, and then do you do like a comb over, or are you just trying to do like a spiky, messy look?
I usually do a comb over.
A comb over?
It's like so just slightly messy as well.
Okay.
And then,
so this side right here is a little bit shorter.
Okay.
All right, you can't see, but I'll give you like a little mirror. So if you hold that, so you see right here, this is a little bit short.
Shorter.
And because you have like
shorter than the other side.
Just in general, like a comb over is typically like asymmetrical and longer on one side, and that's what she's done. See how you have the part right there?
Yeah.
So like, it's either we grow this out because this is very brushy, it's very stiff. Because it's stiff, you're not going to get that volume. You're not going to have the length from one side to slick over to the other.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
it's either, I would say you either kind of like maintain the length or you grow it out.
I see.
If you want that flow. Are you trying to get the flow, or are you just trying to get like a spiky, messy look?
Yeah, I would like to have that flow.
Oh, so you want more flow, so you want to grow it, right?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Rich, why don't you introduce yourself again?
All right. My name is Rich from Mississauga. Been competing in Muay Thai for 7 years, making the transition to pro. I've already got 2 pro fights, but it's a crazy time right now. So just being a fighter, being a student for acupuncturist, doing real estate on the side, and still training clients. So that's me.
Damn. So basically, pro fighter Muay Thai is your main passion, right?
Yes, it is the main passion. Just the more I learn about the body, the more I get to, funnel everything towards the fighting, which is where I'm at with the acupuncture right now. It's crazy, the stuff we're learning right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because being a trainer for so long, it's muscles, it's just muscles and bones. That's it. Not even anything else. But
how old are you again?
I'm turning 32 now.
32?
Yeah.
What are you? 89?
89. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Feel younger than that. 32 is an old age.
And you're from Mississauga. You've been born and raised in Mississauga?
I was born in Toronto and moved here in grade 3. I've been in Mississauga ever since.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What high school did you go to?
Philip Pocock.
Oh, Pocock. Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
I went to Joan of Arc. But I grew up in Windsor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I came here when I was 16.
Oh, 16, huh?
But how long have you been doing Muay Thai for?
I went to combat 2008,
So combat was first, not evolution?
Yeah, combat was first. I had to move for work at Lifetime.
Okay.
So that's when I was training at Evolution. And then I came back to combat when I had to move from
So
work.
You were working at Lifetime first?
Yes, yeah. So
that's what brought you to Evolution?
Yeah,
when
just
Lifetime was across the street.
Right across the street, yeah.
What were you doing? Personal training?
All personal training.
Like bodybuilding related, or more so just like fitness and losing weight, that kind of stuff?
It's more fitness and losing weight most of the time,
right.
But the clientele, it's pretty much whatever you might run into. It's such a big gym, you meet new people.
Right.
Some people are into athletics, but a majority, of course, is just weight loss and fitness.
Yeah. So how old would you say you were when you got into kickboxing? Was your first martial art, right?
Yeah, kickboxing the first. So that was when I was, 2008. That's.
By the way, take a look at the size here. This is as short as I went. Did you want to go shorter than that?
No, that looks good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, perfect. What was that?
2008 is
12, 13 years ago, right? So yeah.
Which would have made you about
20.
20 years old. So you only got into Muay Thai when you were 20.
Pretty much, yeah.
Really? So not even because I got into Muay Thai when I was like 16.
Oh, really?
So I was thinking you were
in Windsor.
So about a year moving into Mississauga,
yeah.
I got into fights at school, and I'm like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's a great start.
Yeah.
Getting into fights.
Pretty much.
It's a good spark.
But it helps you discipline yourself. Like once you're fighting in a professional setting, you don't have the need to want to go fight in the streets.
There's no more fight left in you because the training is so hard. The last thing you want to do is have extra work
That and
That's the thing about
and your
martial
ego.
arts.
It makes you realize, right? For me, it made me realize, okay, I'm not invincible. I can get my ass beat by like
Yeah.
a 12-year-old kid who's been training all his life. Like I need to be
Skinny
careful.
looking, you never know. Or the taxi driver in Thailand, you never know.
Right?
Who's
Exactly.
doing martial arts.
I was thinking that
good.
you were doing this for way longer just because of where you are in this game
sure.
right now.
The thing is, I did Kung Fu first. That I started very young.
Oh, okay.
And my teacher, he kind of taught us everything. So it's not like we weren't doing roundhouse kicks or, front kicks, push kicks.
Right.
Everything was there. Or boxing. We did boxing all in my Kung Fu school. Guoguai Kung Fu. It's closed down now, unfortunately. But
Right.
my Sifu Gun, he's like next level, man. Even to this day, he calls me randomly and
Right.
gives me tips on training. And the traditional way of training is very different, but still useful. Still useful, I believe that.
Did you go to school for what's it called, kinesiology or something too? Is that
Yeah.
why you were at Lifetime?
Yeah. So I went into computer science first.
Oh, okay.
Just being an Asian kid and my dad forcing me into extracurricular math classes.
Right.
And naturally, you're good at math, so I figured
This
I didn't know
is
what I
like
wanted
right
to do.
out of high school, right?
Right out of high school, no idea what I wanted to do. I was competing in Kung Fu, like for Sanshao, and then I lost the competition to go to like some Pan Am qualifiers. So I was like, oh, my shot's done. And then I was like, okay, I just got to go to school now. So jumped into computer science and didn't like it right away.
Right.
So then I switched to kinesiology, which was it's a good move at Sheridan, 4-year degree. It's very practical.
So you completed the first 4 years.
Yeah.
So like maybe halfway into your schooling, that's when you started to work at Lifetime or something, or is that after you graduated?
Yeah, pretty much halfway through. So most of the people work after, but I just was lucky to get a position because I was already working as a trainer
At Combat.
at Premier Fitness.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember Premier Fitness?
Where was that? That's
It's-
Mill Creek?
Yeah, there was one on Mill Creek, there's one on Dixie and Dundas, which I worked at. And it was a big chain, as big as Good Life. But
Right.
I was working there right when it crashed down.
Is that what hood you grew up in, Dixie and Dundas area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nearby like half of my crew. That's where all they live.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because you went to Pocock, right? That would make sense.
Yeah.
I feel like people who live in those areas go to that school.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
or like Applewood. Yeah.
It was a crazy gym. It was a lot of sales-driven, like hardcore.
Pocock, you mean?
No, Premier Fitness.
Oh, Premier.
Yeah.
That's what leveraged you, almost kind of like put you in the direction of that, like real estate and sales and all that? Would you say?
A little bit. I was never into sales, and even being at Lifetime too, it definitely forced sales down into my skill set. But I still don't enjoy it. But it's something everyone needs to do, right? Sales is everything.
Right.
You gotta learn how to communicate. You gotta learn how to sell yourself, especially if you're self-employed. And real estate was more my parents. They do it part-time.
Yeah. So your parents were in it too.
Yes, yeah.
I was gonna ask you. That was my next question. Was gonna be like what made you like pursue that kind of lifestyle? What made you? Do you think you were always kind of like a go-getter, or was it something like an external force, or more of like nurturing that kind of brought you to where you are today?
You mean more like just being self-employed kind of entrepreneur kind of?
That kind of, being an entrepreneur or just a go-getter in general, like even with your martial arts, like why?
Right.
What do you think made you that kind of person?
Being a trainer first, is something about personal training. The best way is most often to be self-employed, to be working for yourself.
Right.
So I think that started it, but the martial arts is totally different. I've always had that passion since I was a kid. It was just starting right from Jackie Chan movies, watching it as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was ingrained in my head.
He's got a new movie on Netflix right now.
Oh yeah.
That I saw that I was like, I'm gonna give that a watch.
I love Jackie Chan, but I can't stand his recent movies, to be honest. Because when you see his old stuff and his when he was in his prime, it's just so different. You know?
Yeah.
So
Way more
different.
authentic.
Yeah.
Like Shanghai Nights and stuff, but stuff earlier than that, like Battle in the Bronx and stuff like that.
Yeah, Battle in the Bronx, like Snake in the Eagle Shadow, or like Drunken Master.
Drunken Master,
classic,
yeah.
Right?
Jackie's a legend, man.
Yeah.
I think honestly, he'll have an impact when he goes.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
My dad actually looks like Jackie Chan. He looks like him and sounds like him. Believe it
Oh,
or
yeah?
not. Yeah. Because I'm half Chinese.
Yeah.
But my dad actually looks like and sounds like Jackie Chan.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
It's a little bit of most Asian dads got that accent.
So with the
Jackie
whole COVID,
Chan.
I was gonna ask you, with the whole COVID thing, like, has that put a stop to a lot of your training, or have you?
It has been a challenge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's put a stop to fights almost for a majority of people I know. Training wise, I think as a professional fighter, you can't let it go. So most people I know who are serious always find a way to train.
Yeah.
And yeah, training never stops. It hasn't stopped for me.
Right.
Just in the basement, you know.
Yeah, and you're lucky that you have a girlfriend that does the shit that you do.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super grateful for that. And just being open to making the basement a gym, you know. Not everyone's cool with that.
Right.
Yeah, we train with each other quite a bit. And
Have you trained with anybody else at combat or anything like that?
at combat, yeah, once in a while we were running sessions in the park, just outside.
I just bought kick pads and focus mitts.
Tie pads and okay, sick.
Because I was actually gonna hit Suhail up, you know.
Yeah, Suhail's a great partner.
Yeah, because he told me that you were running with him. This is when you were gonna run barefoot and stuff. Yeah, like a psychopath.
Still do it.
That's crazy.
I wanted to really give the grounding. Have you heard of grounding?
Yeah. Grounding is like bringing nature back to like the frequencies with Earth and stuff, right?
Yeah, frequency and energy. So I was like, okay, if this works, then I should feel something if I'm running bare feet all the time.
CrossFit will train your feet to get more.
That too, especially for Muay Thai.
This clipper's loud. It's probably gonna pick up on the mic. But whatever. It's all kind of experimental at this point.
Yeah.
So you said you
So
wanted a
that's
square
good.
sideburns, right? Not triangle?
Yeah, square skin.
And did you want like long, short, medium?
Medium's good.
Medium?
Yeah.
How do you feel about like the COVID thing? Like, are you pretty nervous about it, or like?
I'm not nervous about it for myself. For my parents, definitely. For anyone who's a vulnerable population with some kind of disease, predisposition, whatnot.
But they're pretty worried about it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Like follow the rules, all
Yeah,
that kind
following
of
the
stuff,
rules.
right?
They got their first vaccine shot already. And I don't think I'll be vaccinated. I'm gonna wait and
Just because of all the
just see, because
information
I
out
feel
there.
comfortable with my immune system too, right?
Right. And realistically, if they get it, then like they should be fine, right?
Yeah. But I don't know what to believe at this point. I definitely think political motive is possible, or you know,
Some kind of agenda, right?
yeah,
China. That's what everybody's saying, right?
yeah. Because just their actions don't make sense, so it only leads to.
A lot of people are moving. A lot of people, especially celebrities, they're all moving out of California.
Yeah.
They're all going to like Puerto Rico or
Oh my
all
God.
these like. Plus, they're trying to. It's less about the restrictions and more about like taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Same here too, because this year has been insane for me as an agent. It's just so crazy. All the houses, the bidding wars. It's standard to be 100K over asking now, you know?
Yeah,
If you want to buy a house, expect an extra 100K.
So, but this is good for you then as an agent, right? Because you've probably been selling more homes, no?
It is. It depends on if your clients are more buyer agents or
Right.
seller clients or buyer clients.
Yeah.
I've
that
actually
makes
been working with more buyer clients, so it's hard to buy. It's hard to buy a house at this time.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's too expensive.
If you're selling, it's golden for sure. Seller's market.
I'm gonna taper the back, okay?
Yeah.
Taper is just like it's gonna be a bald fade, but only on the neckline, okay?
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, it's been nuts. But speaking of moving, I'm actually moving to Allison myself.
Allison?
Yeah,
Where's that?
That's like just west of Barrie.
Barrie?
So, yeah.
Why are you going out there?
It's just more affordable first. That was the first thing. Second thing is I have clients that are kind of close by there anyway. So it's kind of the same commute. And
We're talking about real estate, or are we talking about training?
Training clients, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Real estate, real estate and acupuncture is going to be a new venture out there for sure.
Right.
I have to check out the market and see what I could do. But I'll still be driving to town. I'll still be training with a few of my buddies here.
Right.
Because it's about an hour drive really, and I'm already used to that. Driving to Toronto, it takes me almost an hour already.
You gotta be. I seen same thing with us talking about like people moving.
Yeah.
Right. Like I seen something on Combat. They posted about a guy who has to put his dreams to going to the Olympics on hold.
That's JM.
JM, right? I've seen him at the gym. I know who you're talking about. And even Tristan Brooks, I think they know each other too.
Okay, yeah. I think so.
He's another boxer who I used to train with. And they have to put their like Olympic dreams on hold, but like
for sure.
But why is that? Because they just won't allow for sanctioned fights in Canada, or
it's totally different. It's more because of the
or a global
qualification to be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I actually trained with JM, so he told me directly, the qualifiers have been canceled to be on the Olympic team.
Okay.
So because they canceled it, they're just gonna base it off of the current rankings of fighters in Canada.
Right. So there's no new trials, no new people.
Yes, yeah. They
people.
don't even have the chance to put themselves up in the rankings right now.
Right.
Even though they've been doing tournaments after tournaments. And
so what's stopping them from moving? Why can't they move and then just go somewhere else and then to qualify and increase in the ranks? Because the Olympics, regardless of where you live, they'll still say no?
So you mean like be on a team for another country or something?
Well, they'll always be for Canada, right? Because they're citizens of Canada, or no?
Yeah, they'll always be for Canada, but
yeah.
The Canadian Boxing Association, Boxing Ontario,
right.
they want things done a certain way. That's it. So
it doesn't matter where they live. System. It doesn't matter where they live.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's just because of Canada.
Yeah, throughout Canada. No one is doing the qualifiers throughout Canada. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Everybody's lives have to be put on hold.
Yeah. So,
what does that mean for like? What's your goals for Muay Thai right now? Like,
I always say.
Or in general, like what's
I give myself a cutoff time because fighting is not a sustainable hobby.
And living, right?
And living, yeah. And health-wise too, right? I don't want to be fighting past 35, so.
Right.
I want 3 more years of going at this as hard as I can.
Right.
I want to be on the big leagues. I want to win some championships. And I just want to be world recognized. That's the best I could do for myself.
So the goal is to like make it to like one fighting championship,
one
right?
FC.
Yeah.
I love to dream about it. It's the best promotion for Muay Thai right now.
Right.
Yeah, and just being on there, getting a couple fights, getting that world exposure would help me a lot as a trainer, as an acupuncturist, as an agent, everything.
Right.
Just because I'm working in the field, so it's always beneficial, right? Fighters retire, they teach seminars, they still teach classes at home, they still have clients. That's the fighter's life.
Are you very goal oriented? Do you like to like chunk your goals down into smaller steps and then implement them into schedules and stuff?
Yes, yeah. Schedule is big. I'm really good. It's all different time periods, different timelines. I'm really good kind of short term, like this year or this week, this month.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting better at is just linking past the year. What am I going to do 5 years, 10 years, right?
Right.
That's changed for me recently.
So now you're looking.
I'm building more goals, more long-term goals now. I have to admit.
Right.
Because before it was just training. I have this short-term goal for training. I gotta, do this certain strength program and meet this, and because that's what we did in school. We just made our own training programs, periodizing things, for
Right.
strength training and everything else for sport.
So the first step is to working on yourself, and then the
Yes.
skills that you have, and then as far as like, what about competing and climbing up the ranks in order to get to 1FC?
That's a discovery, because it's beyond training now. But when you're climbing to compete in a league, it's connections, it's networks, it's business now.
Right.
Because from an amateur fighter to a professional, the only difference is business. You're fighting for business now, to make money, to
So
make other people money.
How are you going to do that? Like, how would you get these competitions? How would you get into these tournaments and compete with people? And
The first step is, from what I've already experimented with and been striving for, is the advertising, of course.
yeah,
Advertising your skills, making yourself a presence online.
right.
So starting a website, starting your social media. And with that, I also want to, like every company has a brand, you want to have some kind of personality or brand behind your fighting profile or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
you gotta get,
for me, I feel like just being a trainer, it's pretty simple. I help people, but I'm also a fighter, so that's kind of the general profile
right.
I have as a fighter.
And it's credibility too.
Yeah, it's credibility.
People
right?
look at it
Yeah.
as like, those are the accolades that you have. Like no one wants to go to a guy who's overweight. They want to go to a guy who's jacked.
Yes,
or no one
yes.
wants to be trained by someone, who hasn't have some kind of accomplishment in regards to the field that they're in.
Yeah, exactly. And there's two sides that are hard to find in a fighter or a coach. A coach, usually they have a good theory, and then fighters got the practical experience. Or even on the academic side, people have the academic experience, but they don't have any practical experience of actually competing, So I think it's a good asset to have both those things, to have the academic side, but all this stuff from school. What are you gonna do with it? You're
Right.
gonna just play around with your hobbies, or you're gonna actually compete at a high level. I think accomplishing at a high level with that knowledge that you've learned from wherever, that says a lot, right?
This is gonna be loud. Experience, essentially.
Yes, yeah. Experience combined with knowledge, theory.
Yeah.
That's
Because knowledge is important too. It's the difference between I could go out and experience as much mat time on jiu-jitsu, but if I don't have the theory and if I don't have the academic side of it, and if I don't like study it, then
yeah, exactly. Then you're gonna be running in circles.
Right.
Yeah, you're not gonna be running towards your goal. Just the knowledge helps with efficiency. That's what it is. And then all you need is the passion and the drive to actually get the experience. But the next step I'm working on is just really, I haven't even mastered that really, to have a presence online.
Right.
Because a lot of fighters, they have people hired, especially in the States, they do a great job. There's gyms in the States where they have a full marketing team for their
So
fighters.
why not do something like that where you just go to can't you just go to like Team Floyd Mayweather's gym, and then like if you just shine in his gym, then you just reach out to him and say, look, I want to fight. Like, can't you do something?
It's true. There's that route. I could.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like in order to make it, like it's either you're at the gym or you win a big tournament and you become number one at that.
Yeah.
And like I think that's where most people start to shine is like they go to a gym that already puts them into these tournaments, and then when you go to those tournaments, you make yourself known and you fight your way to the top.
Yeah. That's definitely an option. I think it's just challenging because once people have caught on to that strategy, it's almost like it's already saturated. Because if you and me are thinking this already, there's tons of people doing it. So it's almost like you could try to play catch up, Like if I go to Floyd Mayweather's gym right now, there's already kickboxers there actually that have already trained boxing there. Yeah. And then that's not a good example because they would never be able to get you a kickboxing fight, but there's already stars there. That's kind of the main thing. You have to beat if you're gonna switch gyms and go to another gym, you have to beat the main star there, and the loyalty is still there. Even maybe if you are better than them, they're gonna be loyal to their guy, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I just feel like if you have that experience and if you're in those gyms and you're just kicking ass, they can't ignore you. Like there's like that old quote. Like I remember Logic said this when he said something. The rapper, right? He said something. When you put your hand over a flame, it's undeniably hot. You know what I mean? And if you are that fire, if you are that heat, people can't ignore. They can't ignore putting your hand over a flame, right?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like if you're good, if you're that good and you're good enough, and you go to one of these gyms, and imagine they have their top 3 athletes, and you're fucking putting those athletes to work.
That's right.
And you're knocking these guys out, or you're making them tap out, or you're making them drop in the ring. Right? And nothing they can do about it is changing anything. They're gonna be like, oh shit, I should pay attention to Rich.
For sure.
Because it's one strategy, and if you don't, and once you try it, then you can knock it off. If it doesn't work, if it works, then it's good. If it doesn't work, then you knock that off the list.
And you're on to the next one.
On to the next strategy.
Yeah.
Because that's all we can do is just try.
For sure. Yeah, about the gyms, I think that's actually what a lot of people do right now. Even for Canadian fighters doing Muay Thai, they go to Thailand.
Yeah.
And
like Eric.
Yeah. So just to compete at those gyms, right, and try to beat the top guy.
He made a pretty good thing.
Oh yeah.
Like he put a big dent in his career path.
Yeah.
Like he started competing on camera and stuff.
Yeah.
But
he got a good, I think, 3 or 4 fights in Thailand within a year's time, and
what do you think?
Put his name on the map.
What do you think separates guys like him or you from other members in the gym? What is it that you got that, for instance, I don't have? Obviously the experience, but like, do you think there's anything other than experience that you could have that I don't have? I go in the ring with you, and when we fought, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hit this guy as hard as I want to because he's gonna fucking hit me as hard as I'm hitting him, and I'm not gonna be able to keep up.
Right.
So what do you think? What do you think you have that others don't?
Just thinking about me and Eric for a perfect example. I'm sure when we were starting out, everyone's new, but the main thing is that we just enjoy. This is specific to Muay Thai. We just enjoy the pain. We enjoy the grindiness of it, the struggle, especially for Muay Thai.
Right.
And it comes to a point where it's pure enjoyment. Like the pain, the struggle, everything is pure enjoyment for us. We don't feel normal without it now.
Right.
Yeah.
So pain is part of the process.
Yes.
And you just love the process.
Just love the process. Yeah.
Right.
If we talked about it, if we stop fighting, we're still going to be either we're going to be coaching and still training, because you come to a point where you love it that much.
Right.
If you do it long enough, you just love it that much. You do it for free.
It's part of your life. That's the same thing with hair cutting.
Yeah.
For me, cutting, like I'm sure even any fighter would say they don't want to fight for the rest of their life. It's just not healthy. They'll end up deteriorating faster than anything, right? Same thing with cutting hair. I don't want to cut hair for the rest of my life, but I will cut hair for the rest of my life. Maybe not 20 heads a day.
Exactly. Just proportional, right?
Yeah, just as like a hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
And these careers are just like the outlet that gets you further in your career.
Exactly. Any kind of skill puts you into a certain zone, a mindset, a meditation. Or it's a certain frequency you have in your mind when you're focused on a task. So you get addicted to that.
Sounds like to me that like your other focuses in life, like real estate and the acupuncture stuff, because I'm sure you want to open up your own business one day.
Yep.
With acupuncture.
Yep. I'm thinking of a cross between acupuncture and Muay Thai.
And Muay Thai, right?
Yeah.
So it's really just about wealth at the end of the day. I think that's the end goal, is to just be wealthy in time and freedom, to be financially free so that you can do Muay Thai for the rest of your life.
Yes, that's a big. As a fighter, a lot of fighters, they put all their eggs in one basket, you know. And Coach Joey, we talk about this a lot. He's always saying how important it is to have other skills in life, you know.
Right.
And even for the sake of continuing to fight, you need to have other skills to make the money,
right,
to just sustain yourself, and then you could keep playing, right? You can't just play forever without any substance to back it up. So yeah, you got to be. You master a craft, and you kind of diversify yourself to have everything support that craft, you know. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
What is it? What are they? What do you think the biggest obstacles are in life? Because right now you have, sounds like you have 3 major priorities. You have your real estate, your acupuncture being probably the biggest one right now.
Yes.
And then your Muay Thai. So what are the 3 obstacles that you face in day-to-day life that gets in the way of
I think the biggest
those dreams?
obstacle is setting your boundaries to how much you can dedicate to each while still achieving your goals. Like, everyone's got different facets in their life they have to manage. You know, if it's not 3 different careers, it might be family, it might be their own health. You know, there's gonna be. It's never one thing. That's the main thing I'm saying.
Right. Never one obstacle, you mean?
Yeah, it's never one obstacle.
One of them, we can even list them. One of them would be, like you said, project management, managing your time for each priority for one.
Exactly.
What would be some other ones that you think? Personal ones, because I think the goal of why I want to do these podcasts is to help others who have similar dreams or similar personalities, where they want to constantly improve on themselves. That's why I reached out to you. I reached out to you because you look like somebody who's constantly trying to improve himself.
Right.
Especially in fitness. Fitness is one of those things that
it's hard to see the results. Yeah.
Or it's just fitness is one of those things where you have to be disciplined in order to see the results.
Yes.
So when you apply the same
consistently.
disciplines to the rest of your life, you'll get the same results in the other areas, whether it be financial or business or investments or whatever it be, right?
Yeah.
Or martial arts.
Yeah, I think the biggest obstacle, now that you said that, it really resonates with me, is there's days you feel you didn't accomplish anything. And the biggest obstacle is to kind of look within yourself and recognize the accomplishments you've had within, just from small activities you've been doing for yourself. So like, the obstacles is those hard times, you know, your energy's low, there's always a burnout point that everyone runs into. And those are the obstacles that come because people quit in those moments. So what really you need to do to avoid quitting is to just kind of recognize, okay, I accomplished this today. Even though, you know, you may be completely broke or you have no money.
Right.
You know, I didn't make any money today, but, you know, I threw this many jabs today. I lifted this weight today.
It's all about the micro transactions.
Yes,
That 1%.
Yeah.
And I'm huge on that right now.
Yes.
Like I saw this post where it was 1 to the power of 365 is still 1, but 1.01 to the power of 365 is 37.8.
There you go.
So you're increasing your percentage by 37% by the end of the year just by doing 1% a day.
Exactly.
So like you were saying, that's those just 10 jabs or 11 jabs the next time, and then 12 jabs in the next time.
Exactly.
Is what's going to get you exponentially further by the end of the year.
For sure.
Because people tend to, and my biggest thing is like people tend to, they bite off more than they can chew, and then they leave that flow state. So Faraz Zahabi, GSP's coach, he talks about this with Joe Rogan, right? Is that if you go at like 75% every day as opposed to 100% every day, you're gonna enjoy it
Yes.
But if you're killing yourself every day and
Yes.
you're like, imagine people who lose weight, they're preventing themselves from eating the foods that they want.
Exactly.
It's not a lifestyle. It's not sustainable.
Not sustainable.
Exactly. So they end up hating it. They fall into their own trap. But if you just do that 1% every day, that's all that matters. Stop thinking about getting to the top of the mountain right away.
Yes.
You gotta think about the fucking steps that are right.
Just think about that and be in the moment to enjoy it. A lot of people, they're thinking so far ahead. You don't enjoy that moment where you've achieved this small step, right?
100%.
Yeah, and having a present mindset, you know, everyone, a lot of talk about meditation these days. You know, meditation is any kind of activity that gets you in the zone.
Right.
Gets you in that zone and you feel good after, you know, it could be anything. But to just keep on that state and keep in that zone, and then that's it. It becomes gratifying. Yeah.
Is there things that you can take from Muay Thai that you can apply to your daily life?
Yes.
Even the simplest things. You know, for me, like jiu-jitsu, like just having posture, having good posture.
Okay.
When I take out the groceries, I'll go like this and I'll hold the groceries, and that applies to that lifestyle.
It's a simple application, but it helps. And I think just that right there, it's self-body awareness that you have with any kind of martial art. So being aware in yourself during like the most menial tasks, it could be Muay Thai, could be martial arts. I think Kung Fu is a good example because there's always these movies of Kung Fu masters doing stuff in daily life like they're doing Kung Fu. Like they're cooking. They're in a horse stance and they're postured up and that kind of thing.
Right. Kind of like Karate Kid. Take off your jacket.
Yes.
Put it on, and he's like blocking when he's putting it on and putting it off. Or the wax on, wax off.
Yeah. And I think the biggest lesson, like simply said, is there's training, and everything in life is training almost, right? If you're sweeping the floor, it could be training. You know, you just squat down, you make it really intense, you make it fun or whatever, you do it at high speeds. It could be training for yourself. Anything you could be doing. That's really useful when I find myself in a situation where like, oh, this is so boring, or I feel I can't learn from this situation right now, or if I'm listening to someone and I feel like it's a waste of time. You know, there's a way you can modify the situation to practice something and train yourself in something, and that way you're always being productive and improving yourself, right? Even in moments where it's like there's nothing going on, or you know, people in jail, for example, you know, they're gonna find ways to improve themselves, even the most worst situations, worst settings. So I think that's the main one. Life is training, always training, one way or another.
Do you feel like it changes your perspective in the other areas of your life too, like Muay Thai or your discipline? Does it translate from your martial arts to real estate to acupuncture school and studying for it?
I think so. A little bit. Maybe I haven't progressed far enough in both of those other fields. Right. But just the perseverance itself is always very helpful.
Right. Perseverance.
Yeah. Perseverance, discipline, scheduling everything. And just, the biggest thing is being a beginner, trying to remember what it's like when I first started martial arts, and having no ego about it, right? Right. And having no ego, and now I'm starting in real estate, and no ego in acupuncture, just being a complete beginner again. Nobody knows who you are, you know. I'm used to having everyone say hi to me, everyone knows me, everyone knows what I've done as a fighter, but now it's back to zero. So that's a great experience to be back to zero again.
It's funny because the people that don't know you in your real estate, or whether it be your acupuncture class, don't realize you could just kick their fucking head off. You're just like, someone's being rude to you or something like that, like steals your pencil, and you're just sitting there like, it's okay, you can have that pencil. You know?
Yeah, most people in acupuncture can actually see it because they're more like health conscious people, so they recognize bodies and stuff. But real estate has been an ass kicking for sure. Just talking to people on the phone, and they're like, no, I want it like this. You're gonna submit the deal, and no, we're not gonna budge on the conditions. We're stuck at this price, and they can tell I'm a beginner. You know, they can sense it, they can hear it, and I know they know I'm a beginner, so it's kind of like I'm just allowing them to bully me around. But it's a process, right?
You can't kick your way out of that situation either.
Yeah, you try the best you can just to survive, and it's been a good learning experience. But I just came across another agent where, for the first time, the agent, I could tell he was newer than me. So it was the first time the tables flipped, so it was a good feeling to feel somewhat on equal grounds, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so you just gotta keep at it, that's all.
Yeah, that's like that's the biggest lesson as to how far you are in the game.
Yeah.
Because when you start off as a white belt in jiu-jitsu, you're like, fuck, man, when am I gonna get better at this shit?
Yeah.
And then a new white belt comes in, and you're like, oh my god, I'm miles from where I first started, right?
Yeah.
So you see this new guy, and he's just like, well, what do I do? Where's the bathroom? He doesn't even know where the bathroom is at your office or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you feel stuck about your situation, but you've already learned a shit ton of ropes.
Yeah, and other people in jiu-jitsu have told me it's pretty, when you're starting out and you get like your first tap or whatever, you make someone tap for the first time.
That's amazing. It's awesome.
Amazing, right?
That's why it's one of those things where it's like, damn, I get to apply the knowledge that I've learned, and I'm finally reaching that level.
Yeah, and it's such a distinct result. Like, oh, he tapped, I won, he lost. In the back of your mind, there's that black and white victory.
But yeah, that's that. And thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it too.
Looking fresh.
Thank you.